Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. It's episode 23 of British Business with Matt Holland. How are you, Tom? You okay?
I'm all right. How are you, Matt?
Good. How was the drive in today? We didn't drive together for a change.
For a change. Yeah, no, it's separate. Yeah, because I've got to shoot straight from, haven't I? Yeah, good. All right. Yeah, straight up journey. Missed the preamble though in the car, but
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, like, what is it like? Not the debrief.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Anyway. So today we're talking about micromanagement.
Okay.
Which is I think it's quite an emotional subject for most business owners.
Yeah.
And it cuts deep because we're all micromanagers. Like, we're all guilty of it. I think if you're entrepreneurial, you want to be all over everything. Mm-hmm. And I actually think it's a really good skill.
Yeah.
But actually the real kind of like when you hit that kind of level, like when you hit I play a lot of games, but like RPG, like you hit the top level for that particular skill. When you do that, it's like you have the ability to turn micromanaging on and off. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think when you and I'm not saying I'm at that level. I'm not at that level. I think I'm getting better at it. But
Yeah.
I think the real skill with micromanaging is the ability to be all over something, and then with certain things, and then when you need to be, but then also leaving it alone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a real challenge, I think, for most business owners. So yeah, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of that, which I think will be quite good. Just a quick request, if anyone listening could do us a massive favour and leave like a rating on Spotify, or make sure you're liking on YouTube. It just helps us massively. Morgan keeps telling me to ask you guys to do that, so we really appreciate it. Or comment, ask us a question. Ask Tom what jelly uses in his hair, why Matt always wears a cap, whatever you want. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, how are you? Busy?
Busy, yeah. Stressful at the moment.
Yeah, you've had loads of containers arriving, haven't you?
Containers. Yeah. They've come early. We had one that got one of the container ships was involved in an accident, so that delayed the delivery by 2 and a bit weeks. But we'd already...
I'm just going to have to cut you off there, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you'd think the sea's a pretty big place.
I know, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What did they do?
Wrong?
Did they ring the AA?
I have no idea what they'd done. We just got notification that the mothership, they called it, is been involved in a collision. I was thinking, oh, God.
I mean, out of interest, did you challenge them on that? Or did you just nod your head and go, oh dear?
I was just like, oh, yeah.
Because I'd want to know how the ding happened.
Yeah.
What was the captain doing?
Yeah. Had he been drinking? What was it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where did this happen? Was it the Suez Canal? Or
yeah.
What's going on?
Shocking.
Oh dear.
But yeah, that caused a 2-week delay. We pre-sold some of the product though with like a launch date. And then obviously we had to let quite a number of customers not down, but inform them, be open and honest what happened, and let them know of a delay, and they can swap it, change it, refund it, credit it.
It's such a natural thing. It's such a normal thing now.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like almost a social experiment that.
Yeah.
On people.
Yeah.
Like they want something, they know when it's going to arrive, and you tell them they can't have it because there's been a problem.
Yeah.
There's a proportion of society that reacts in a positive way and goes, yeah, no worries, don't think, or they won't even reply, they'll just go.
Yeah, just accept it, yeah.
And then there's a small proportion of society, whatever reason, maybe they've been in a little car ding that day, the day isn't going well, and they're like, right, having your 85 is getting it.
You're having it now for that. Yeah.
I want to speak to your boss, I want to speak to your manager, you've ruined my day, you've ruined my month, you've ruined my year, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, this is it.
I'd bought that, I'm planning on going, whatever I know what product it'll be, robes.
Camping, there'll be a camping or something.
We're going this trip, we needed it, it's going to ruin the holiday.
Yeah.
I want compensation, I want £1,000 off it.
Yeah.
There'll be like 1% of people, like 0.01 that do that. But then there's like, I mean, overall, I would say probably the reaction was
less than 5% really kicked off. Yeah. But obviously we put that right. And the majority, 95, were accepting of it, and we're like, oh, no problem. When it arrives, that's fantastic. Yeah.
So a bit of a crisis. You duck and weave.
Yeah, exactly.
Duck and weave, make it right. Look after the customers.
That's what you got to do.
Try not to get too badly burnt from the situation. It happens.
It happens. Yeah.
I tell you what, I don't think there's many businesses out there, or any businesses out there, that have not had a crisis.
Oh no,
or a problem, or like something boiling over. Do you know what I mean? Like it.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's just a shame that the consumer and people can't look at themselves and go, these things happen.
Yeah. Because we told them about what the vessel and things like that, and at least the majority were understanding of.
Yeah, I think the problem is as well in society, like the consumer, they know that if they kick off, they get more.
Yes,
so
yeah.
that's the
Open forum of
that's
feedback and things.
But yeah,
how about you? How's your week been?
Obviously today we're filming a bit of a batch, so I've mentioned it a couple of times, but I was away for a couple of weeks until he got poorly. Kind of just recovering from all that.
Yeah.
So recovering from a break.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it happens, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, yeah, things are good at the moment. I think me and Rob have just booked a trip to India.
Oh, brilliant.
So we're going seeing, because we've got staff in India.
Yeah.
So we're going out there for 10 days.
Nice.
So we're meeting some of the team in Mumbai, and then we've got a web developer in southern India. So I'm potentially looking at getting an internal flight going down seeing Lawrence. I think Lawrence listens actually.
Oh, brilliant.
You know Lawrence?
Yeah,
actually.
he's done work for us. He's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, he came over to the UK. Was it last year or this year? I think it was last year.
Yeah.
We flew him over to the UK, so this time we're going to go and see him, and we're going to go and see Mayank's team, who's another guy that we use.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so me and Rob are going out there in September, so book that little trip.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just planning, organising, heading into peak in a few months' time.
Yeah.
It's like...
It'll soon be on us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad how fast time just goes on and on and on, doesn't stop. It's crazy. But anyway, no, things are good. So yeah, this episode we're going to talk about micromanaging.
Yeah.
And I think a key part of it is like giving space to your team.
Yeah.
Or giving space to people within your business.
Mm-hmm.
Let them get on. Let them go through the process of failing and learning.
Yeah.
Like that's a key thing. Because I always think like part of the reason it stifles growth as well in businesses.
Yeah.
Like the business owner sticking their hands in too many pies. You need to know what's going on, I think, to a certain degree. But in some regard, it's like, well, actually, you just need to know, are we hitting where we need to be, like with the numbers or whatever? And as long as service levels are being... I think you get caught up in micromanaging because of like trauma.
Yeah.
So you're like, because you've seen problems explode, like say this customer service issue with the containers not arriving. Well, you go, oh well, if I'd been all over it, maybe I would have been able to know sooner. And this person's not done this, or I'm not saying you have done that, but or suggesting that has happened in this scenario. But in those kind of events, it's very easy to go, right, I've got to do this myself. I can't let anyone else do it.
Yeah.
It can only be done by me. And it's like, right, hold on a minute. People make mistakes.
Yeah. Things happen.
So that's not an excuse for micromanaging.
No, not at all.
At all. But British Business Fact of the Week, I read this and I was like, that's interesting. And I'm actually impressed with how much responsibility they allow on to these people. But basically, Timpson...
Yeah, the shoe repair and key cutters.
Key cutters. I mean, they've basically got a monopoly now.
Yeah. I've seen them on the high street, aren't they? They're outside a load of supermarkets.
Supermarkets, high streets, it's convenient.
Yeah.
I think they've pretty much got a monopoly.
Yeah.
Like your independent shoemaker, shoe repairer, key cutter, they don't really exist anymore because it's a bit of an art, really.
Yeah.
That would be historically passed down generationally. And actually, because of society, like I'm wearing Vivo Barefoot, you're wearing Nike trainers, people don't, because of the cost of things, they don't resell
No,
them.
they don't resell many things nowadays.
Those businesses have kind of gone by, and then like key cutting, that's more of a modern thing. Shoe repairs is historical, so that business and industry has changed massively. But Timpson's, the fact, the UK key cutting and shoe repair chain runs over 2,000 UK shops.
But
their head office, coincidentally, is actually in Wythenshawe.
Is it really?
Yeah. So I, when we moved warehouse a few years ago, I was like, right, I need to go and get some keys cut. So I typed Timpson in, and it was like, oh, it's just around the corner on the industrial estate. So I went there, knocked on the door. I was like, oh, I need some keys cut. And she was like, oh, love, we're the head office.
Yeah.
You'll have to go down Tesco's round the corner.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. I was like, why is there like Porsches and like like fancy cars?
Some premium key cutting going on
like,
here.
I've made it. I'm going to the Timpsons.
Yeah.
Like,
the real deal.
You're at head office. We don't cut keys here. I think, and she was like, I think we used to when we first opened, but we don't do that anymore. It just made me laugh. Good business though.
Yeah. Is it James Timpson in it? Is that the son that runs it now?
There's a lot of Jameses. I'm a James. Your brother's a James.
Yeah, there's a few.
But going back to the fact, Timpson, the UK key cutting and shoe repair chain, runs over 2,000 shops, but has no micromanagers. Each brand manager sets its prices.
Oh, right, okay.
Controls the stock and handles local problems on their own.
Yeah, brilliant.
Because if you think about lots of retail and businesses like that, prices is always set by head office.
Yeah.
And they're just updating it. So I thought that was really interesting. And I asked ChatGPT to give me some references, and there was a couple of news articles talking about it. So it was really interesting. So they almost empower the individual store manager.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're franchised. I think they operate them all themselves as well.
Believe so.
Which is interesting because it's definitely a model that would be franchisable.
Yeah.
If you've got a family run business that is a shoe repairs business and a key cutting business, and you wanted to go, do you know what? Let's not do this on our own email. Let's use Timpson.
Yeah.
Be a great way. Maybe they do that. I don't know. But why it matters: trusting your people to think and act like owners creates loyalty, freedom, and growth, and means the boss doesn't have to babysit. So I think giving people that responsibility and trust to run it themselves. Now, I for a long time have been heavily involved in our operation. I'm going to hold my hands up right now. I am guilty of micromanaging 100%.
Yeah.
Because our warehouse operation, I'm constantly sticking my little. It must be very, and Danny won't mind me saying it because he listens to the podcast. But I'm getting better at it slowly, and I think it might be a trust thing because Danny's been with us. It's coming up to a year. He's fantastic at his job, but just letting go of the nitty gritty of the operation.
And why do you feel that way? Is it?
I think it's a comfort blanket for me.
Yeah.
I think I'm good at it. I'm good at problem solving. Maybe I'm not actually. Maybe actually I think I cause trouble.
Yeah.
But it's because I've got OCD high standards. So I go in there and I'm like, that needs sorting out. This needs sorting out. Da, 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 da. But these days, I'm picking up on petty things. So Daddy's a bit like, Matt, just fuck off.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to say, I suspect.
Yeah.
But I do need to have the awareness of what's going on in the warehouse and stuff so I can manage Danny. But more and more, I'm moving further away from it. I think naturally it's like a bit of a dial that will turn over time. I can't have a separation of it.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at the micromanaging of him. There's other areas of the business where I trust my brother with what he does and what Sarah does. Those guys kind of just independently, and we just catch up on an infrequent basis. Danny does a great job. I think I am a micromanager 100%, particularly with the warehouse. I'm not really overly involved in the day-to-day of the customer service team that sits underneath Danny. He knows what he's doing with that, and they just manage it themselves.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is I'm a bit like the warehouse is the light that's on, and I'm the fly. I just get attracted to it.
Yeah, let me go and cause mischief in there.
But it's exciting.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in there. It's and for me, it's I want to be in it.
Yeah, orders going out, so you're thinking orders, money, revenue, brilliant. Yeah, exactly. Stock coming in.
So for us, you can probably completely understand and agree.
Yeah.
It's so attractive because it's the shop floor.
Yeah.
And you're drawn to it.
Yeah.
But I think for business owners in the UK, you have to be willing to do the things you don't really want to do, which at the moment my job requires me to focus on numbers and things like that, and we're actively looking for businesses to buy at the moment. That's something we're actively trying to do.
Yeah, that's
diversify and add different things to our bow, and when that happens, I will go off and be micromanaging that or systemizing and improving it.
Yeah.
Not micromanaging, but improving things. But until that happens, I'm kind of a bit of the day-to-day I've kind of been removed from. And I just need to take a bit more of a step back so I can also get loads of efficiency gains within our business.
Yeah.
But it's hard. If you're a 5-man team or a 2-man team and you've got someone that you've just delegated some responsibilities to, in one hand, you do need to follow up on them and know what's going on, but also you need to give them the space you need to trust people, don't you?
Yeah. At what point in your business did you feel was the right time for stepping away, like you're saying about the warehouse operational side of it, what was the signal to you that, right, my time now is to replace me with someone that may be slightly better?
So I'm in that managing director role, and I don't think we're at the stage where I could be replaced. I think I still need to be there from a leadership perspective. But I've done roles beneath me, but still had the job title of MD, which is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would say you need to have the right economies of scale to a certain degree. You need to be profitable. Because I think part of the fear for business owners is that they're not making enough money, so they feel like they need to do everything.
Yeah.
But then the counteract of that is that if you free yourself up from a mundane task, and it goes back to like calculating what your hourly cost to the business is and go and kind of replace that with someone else, and then I've got time, well then I've got to do the stuff that generates revenue and opportunity for the business.
Yeah.
Because opportunity isn't necessarily revenue, it might be delayed gratification in the form of revenue.
Yeah.
So freeing yourself up, it's just finding the right moment, I think, and also finding the right people.
Yes.
Because sometimes you might think you've got a good person, you need to step back a little bit, but then actually when you step back, fractures occur, and then you're like, right, maybe need to tweak this slightly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard, but you've got to react to that. And I think that's like why business owners are inherently, they constantly get pulled back into things because but then it comes back to the hiring process, and you've got to really find good people.
Yeah. That's the point to capture. Make sure that vetting process on the onboarding side of things then would be making sure you're weeding everything out at that point.
Yeah, and having a robust probationary period and all the rest of it, I think that's important. But yeah, you do need to, it's something you've got to do. You have to step back, because if you don't, you end up creating problems.
Yeah.
Because now, like, the warehouse can run itself, and really my job in that is to hold the warehouse to KPIs like cost per order and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. But it doesn't, when it gets busy in winter, it's like, do you need me? Do you want someone help? It's like, it's hard, isn't it?
I'll come and help. I'll come and help.
So main discussion points today, the shift from operator to leader. So it's the key thing is, what's the difference between operating your business and leading your business? And when did you realise doing it all yourself was a dead end? I think there was a period for me, probably in 2020, when I was running the shifts in the warehouse while also trying to manage the pay-per-click, support Mark on the SEO and building the website, liaising with suppliers. Sarah, I think at the time, was doing like a bit of supplier relations, doing the customer service. We were all very hands-on in the trenches in the business. I realised that, well, actually for us to get to that next level, we just tipped over like £1 million turnover in 2019. And then 2020 it kind of doubled. Yeah. And 2020 it doubled, sorry. And then it's like, right, we need better people. Yeah, we can't just hire warehouse operatives. Yeah. And then we made mistakes at that point. We promoted people or gave responsibility to people across the business that maybe shouldn't have had it. And we should have probably, like, there were some good decisions in there where we promoted internally, but overall there was a few scenarios where we shouldn't have probably given people responsibility. Yeah. And that's difficult in a small business because you've got existing people and you kind of need to give them the responsibility. So I think you've got to go through that process, almost micromanage those people that aren't capable of managing themselves. Yes. So you've got to be a good micromanager. Yeah. To then get to the point where you can then bring in someone to manage that then you don't have to micromanage. Yeah. So that's like the step process when I look back now over that 2020 in the last 5 years where it's really scaled from $1 million to 8 figures and going past that £10 million number. It's like, well, how did we achieve that? And I suppose I definitely have become better at stepping back, but then all that's happened is I've then micromanaged the problems. Yes. So it's understanding actually which things you need to micromanage and which things you don't need to micromanage. I mean, when you look at your business or like other businesses you come into do you think you're a micromanager?
Yeah, unfortunately, very much a micromanager. And, when I'm talking to other business owners that are way beyond what we're doing and been, uber successful, one thing in common is they're not actively day-to-day involved in their businesses, yet they've got a real profitable, systemized business that just works. And that is the holy grail, isn't it? To get to that point.
It's how do you pivot from where we are today, where we're still actively involved, to that kind of echelon where it's like, and I think that's the difference between an 8-figure business and a 9-figure business.
Yeah.
And actually, there's thresholds in there, like getting from 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80.
Yeah.
Like, it's different ball games.
Oh, yeah. You need those systems, processes, those people in those places. Like, in terms of infrastructure within your business, you are miles ahead of where we are. Right? Put it in perspective, I was unloading containers on Monday. Packing orders on Monday, unloading containers on Tuesday, at a trade show on Wednesday. Like, I'm doing this, doing that, and reflecting on it, as we touched on previously or earlier in the previous episode, is looking at actually, why am I unloading containers? Like, we could take resource on for that.
It's good that you're being open like that. Do you think, like, you're being reactionary?
Yeah, definitely.
When you're in the moment in that, it's like, it's hard to... It's hard to pull yourself out of it.
Yeah. Because you feel like, I need to do it because I'll get it done quickly. I'll get it done right, and it won't cost us anything. But yeah, it's costing my time where it could be spent elsewhere.
Because I know, like, because I know you quite well, you're like an unbelievable... I think you're an unbelievable financial mind, and your business is like... The financial control you have on your business is... I mean, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I am pretty good, but I spend a lot of my accountant to support me.
Yeah.
I think if you didn't do all the things that you've just said, you would you'd be immediately more profitable.
Yeah,
and be able to afford.
Yeah.
But it's the stopping doing it.
Yeah.
And it's also taking the risk of hiring more people.
That's exactly it.
Which then when we come back to Rachel, it's like, in government, it's like you're scared of hiring people now.
Yeah.
So your business is I mean, you are still growing. You're doing a tremendous job. You're an 8-figure business. You're absolutely flying. But the reason why you're like, I don't want to hire that person yet, I don't want to do this, it's because it's like, you've probably had your fingers burnt hiring people.
Yeah, we have.
You will have had your fingers burnt kind of like giving out responsibility and stepping back.
Yeah.
But it comes back to that iteration a couple of episodes ago of James Dyson doing, was it 5,000 iterations?
5 and a bit, 5,000.
5,000 something.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't work doesn't mean the idea is wrong.
No, that's a very good point.
So, like, just because it didn't work that time when you tried to give that responsibility out and not micromanage, doesn't mean that someone else on planet Earth. Yeah. I'm not being funny.
It's true.
I am not special.
No.
And neither are you.
No.
So and it's like Morgan with his podcasting. Morgan wants to grow his business. Someone else can do what Morgan's doing right now eventually.
Yeah, true.
So for him to grow, he will bring a talented person in that can do that.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do it.
Yeah.
It is hard.
It's extremely hard to do.
And it's also the excitement and buzz and the dopamine hit you get of unloading the container.
Yeah.
You're like, right, we've got to do it. I've got to be involved.
Yeah. You get 3 hours to unload, otherwise you get fined. So I was like, right, we're laying this out, we're doing this, forklift truck, pump truck, between me and my brother,
you want
of course.
To lead on the front line.
Yeah.
I mean? It's such a...
I mean, even on the financial controller point where you talked about a minute ago, like looking at the finances, it took 14 years to get a bookkeeper in. You know what I mean? Because I wanted full control of it all, from
uploading
the invoices, making all the payments, sending the remittances, checking statements, bank reconciliation.
What's happened there is the business has grown so much you just physically can't do it.
Yeah.
So you've had
basically
no choice.
No.
And maybe that's what will happen with other things, like with the operation or X or Y. And that's probably what happened with me.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, because we are micromanagers, like you get to the point of break where you've got to bring someone in.
Yeah, you have to.
Or it's like the hours are gonna kill you.
Yeah. Otherwise you go grey like me.
Basically. But when you're in that, like, you can do the manual tasks.
Yeah.
You can rep and set it, and you can do it. You can do 67 hours a week, but you can't do, in my opinion, 30 hours of operational micromanaging, doing tasks that you shouldn't be doing, and then do a really good job 40 hours a week at actually doing your job.
Yeah.
So if you go and do that shipping container and unload it, it comes at the detriment of stuff where you could be you could be negotiating with suppliers, better terms, etc.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you need to learn in business as a business owner, entrepreneur, whatnot, is knowing at that point, isn't it, in which, right, now is the time to step back.
Yeah.
Because whilst you're doing a lot of many things, you find very efficient ways to do those things because you don't really have the time to put, take time on it. You need to find an efficient route of doing it. So when you're on board, you know what the standard is then, don't you?
How do you, if you are delegating to people, how do we put guardrails and systems in place so that it's okay for you to step back? Like those processes and improving things, it's like you've got to give people the chance.
Yeah.
You've got to give them the room to fail, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
And fail a couple of times. Mm-hmm. You've got to have the belief in someone.
Yeah. Yeah, give them the runway to...
Yeah.
And the autonomy to... Yeah, make their own decisions without you second-guessing everything.
Yeah.
And if it does go wrong, there's no I told you so's. Because that is one way to demotivate someone, isn't it? But it's a matter of, okay, recognise that happened, what we're going to do in future to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. And if you've got to bring someone in, it's about putting your arm around that person that isn't quite the right fit for leading the role. It's like saying to them, like, well, listen, we're bringing this person in because we want to invest in developing you.
Yeah.
Because I've not got the time to do it right now because I need to focus on growing the business or doing X or Y.
Yeah.
And that is the truth, actually. Part of it is you're bringing someone else in to do the job that person hasn't been able to do, but the reason they're not able to do it is because you're not able to invest the time in that person to help develop them.
Yeah.
So it's... Yeah. Do you think as you head into this winter you'll be in a better position to be less involved operationally?
Yeah, based off the learnings from last year and how busy peak was then. Already it's like, well, we want to grow and we're on track. We are up year over year, yeah. So we're anticipating that level of growth as we go into Q4. So there's no way I can spend most of November and December in the warehouse because there is huge opportunities, as you just spoke about, on supplier terms, replenishments of bestsellers, some exclusive lines, keeping on top of all those sorts of things, which will drive the revenue and ultimately make us more profitable. Yeah. So there's no way. We've already got a plan for onboarding warehouse operatives basically as we head into peak and doing it nice and early so we can train them and they're not coming in at a point where actually, sorry, as you just spoke about, there's no time to train you. You're just going to have to crack on and do what you can do.
That is so true, but it's so difficult, I think, to get there.
Yeah. It's the anxiety of taking employees on and knowing that you're onboarding someone, therefore they need training. That is also more time. But you're extremely busy in what you're doing in the first place. So it feels kind of counterproductive, and which is probably why sometimes onboarding many business owners it's a half-assed job. It's I tried, it didn't work out.
But actually, so it didn't work out. Goes a little bit back to what was that MVP thing that you were talking
minimum
about?
Viable product. Yeah,
minimum viable products. That applies as well to taking action on hiring someone as well.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you might not have enough time to train them properly, but if you bring them in and do the minimum to get them to be at a viable level, and then they can then gather experience and expertise internally in the business and fix and bring their own skill set. And if it's someone that's capable of doing that, then give them the opportunity and space to do it.
Yeah.
I'm bringing someone in on Thursday. I've got a new start on Thursday, and me and Rob have come up with a bit of a plan. Well, I've got a plan. Rob's going to execute some of it, and it's a financial role basically.
Oh, good.
The business. So we've got them starting on Thursday, but we don't need to have in an ideal world you would, but it doesn't need to be perfect.
No.
And actually, it might be better to have it flow naturally.
Yeah.
And we go, right, this person, they're in the role, how do you manage this? Right, well, we do this, this, and this. Might not be the smoothest process, but it's going to be viable.
Yeah.
It's going to work. And it's going to get us to a point where we can make a decision in a few weeks, is this person right for our business?
Yeah.
Because you'll know with just those interactions.
Yeah, you will.
Whether or not it's going to work. Why do you think founders struggle to let go? Specifically founders versus, say, a senior manager in your business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. I think founders struggle to let go because it's their baby, it's their business. They started it, like you spoke about a minute ago. You've done every role in your business, as have I. Everything from booking stock in to packing orders
Cleaning
to customer service. Yeah, literally everything. Uploading the products. So it's like, well, I know how to do these things, and it's very difficult to let someone in that place where they have control of a certain department when you've got, well, arguably more knowledge and experience. How do you feel? What do you feel about why do you think founders struggle?
I think it's trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's PTSD and trauma of it not working.
Yeah.
Or you're not earning enough money.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lady, Sammy, that I'm chatting to on Instagram at the moment. She's got an ice cream business, manufacturing ice cream and like baked goods.
Oh, nice.
And she's in the trenches. She's working all the hours under the sun.
Yeah.
And I'm quite jealous of her because that is it's the best thing ever, I think.
The exciting part.
And you look back on that period and you're like, God, that was good.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it's fucking hard.
Yeah, it is.
But for her she's not micromanaging, but for her to take a step back from being hands-on making the ice cream and doing things, she's got to bring someone in. That person costs money.
Yeah.
And if your business at scale isn't making enough money, it's really hard.
Yeah.
She's got a fantastic business, but when you're at that point where you're just making enough money, paying yourself a reasonable wage, and then you've got to bring someone in and it wipes out that.
Yeah.
It's so difficult.
That comfort blanket of what profit was remaining. Yeah, that's true. It's the risk, but then on the flip side of that, you're not committing to them for life, are you? In terms of a role for life.
Yeah.
And you'll know within the first.
Well, that's my point about it. Doesn't need to be the perfect start, and actually, if it's not perfect, you get to see the whites of people's eyes.
Yeah.
So if it's like a little bit imperfect, their starting procedure, and you'll see straight away, are they asking the right questions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas if it's laid out and it's like the perfect plan, they go, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like a penguin.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're having to ask questions, it shows that they're thinking about what they're doing.
Yeah.
So there's a pro to it not being the perfect roadmap. Depends on the job role as well. Bringing in warehouse operatives, you want it to be a very smooth and clear thing, so you can then hold them to account on it and what have you. But eventually, you want it to be very well systemized with whoever you bring in.
Yeah,
I would say. I think that's a great micromanaging and giving people space. It's such an important part of leadership and such an important skill, I would say. Mm-hmm. One thing, it's something that neither of us, I think, are doing fantastically well at.
You're doing a far better job than what we are in our business, trust me.
The grass isn't always greener. Ask Danny if I'm a good...
I've spoke to Danny. He speaks highly of you and the rest of the team.
I don't know about that. No, it's a work in progress, like with everything. And it's impossible to achieve 100% efficiency. There's always room for growth and getting better at it. I can definitely get better at the certain things I do micromanage. So, ChatGPT, question we didn't want to answer. Mm-hmm. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. You
don't like this?
No, throwing out horrible questions. Yeah.
What's the one thing you still can't stop micromanaging, even though you know you should?
Well,
if you pick one thing in your life, or business or whatever, one thing that you're just a bit too hands-on with, that you've got the systems there for, why you still getting involved in it.
Yeah, let's think about this. We've recently, myself and James, brother, business partner, look, we need to clear defined roles.
Between the two of you?
Yeah, James, more operations, because he's a much better operator than I am, and I'll focus on the sales, marketing, finance and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Still cannot help myself.
Unloading a container.
Yeah, unloading a container. Also, what's happened, with this delivery or this order that's coming, it's not uploaded, it's been uploaded and it's not looking exactly right. And then I can tell James is like,
fuck off.
Yeah, we're on it.
Leave me the fuck alone.
But there's a difference between me and James, where different personality types, whereas I'm like, I want everything now.
Yeah.
Go, do.
Yeah.
Which James is like, no, systemize one thing at a time. Let's get it right. Finish that. Move on to the next thing.
I can definitely see it. You said earlier, I think this episode or the previous episode, you guys are very similar. I think you're very different.
Yeah.
I think you've got different strengths and weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And I think James is really strong in areas that you're not.
Yeah, he definitely is, yeah.
And that's why you make a good partnership, which we've discussed previously on like the concepts of partnerships. But I think...
What about for you?
100% there's things that I still micromanage a little bit too much of. There's loads. But I think in particular, the one thing that I need to like relinquish any conversation with eventually, I think, is the operation.
Yeah, good.
Is the pit pack dispatch and the customer service. Mm-hmm. And I need to, in the next 12 months, we've made progress in the last 12. We got to the position where Rob was heavily involved in the operation. We pulled him out of it.
Okay, yeah.
Danny's there dealing with it.
Yes.
And that was a transition. And now I think in the next 12 months I'll move further and further away from the day to day. I'll still be involved, and Danny will obviously report into me, but I just need to. Yeah, and I think my ADHD and the way I operate, what actually needs to happen is there needs to be problems to solve elsewhere.
Yeah.
For the business to get the most out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I could 100% do less of.
Yeah.
And I need to improve on that. So key takeaways for listeners. Real leadership means building trust and letting go. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with that. If you don't trust people, it's interesting because I've not actually read these, and I think this is bang on. If you don't trust your people, you hired the wrong ones, and you're the problem. Mm-hmm. So we discussed that earlier.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that ChatGPT has reached the same resolution as we did, which was maybe, you might be reluctant to relinquish, to move back because you're concerned about that person will address the problem.
Yeah.
Bring someone in additionally, or make the difficult decision to challenge that person and develop them, or get rid of them.
Yeah.
Really important. Great systems make good people even better.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah.
And I think actually sometimes you're having to micromanage because the system in place isn't strong enough.
Yeah.
The procedures that are in place are... If you put in procedures and sign off on them, then it's got to be done the way that you want it.
Yeah.
And then if it's not, you can go, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. Why are you not doing what we've agreed?
Yeah.
And
it's a very good point.
In that way. So I think that was a good episode. I enjoyed that. So that's episode 23 in the bag.
Yeah. We're
doing episode 24 next week.
Good.
Wrapping the numbers up. So it leads in really nicely next week because we're doing... because we've covered people at a very high level.
Yeah.
But this is about specifically hiring slow and firing fast.
Okay, yeah.
Which we've tipped on, but we want to just deep dive into that and why it's so important in small businesses when you've only got 5 staff or 2 or 3 staff, and you're like, you bring in that third person, it's like, but there's a process to it, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you're commenting, give us some feedback as well. And the other thing is, if you want to come on the podcast, we can get people remoting in, and me and Tom can chat to you about your story in business, and you can share with us your problems and what have you, and we'll have a chat about it. It'd be great to get you on. There's going to be a link in my Instagram bio, which is a form that you'll be able to fill out to input your details about coming on the podcast. So if you're interested, find that link and click it and fill your information, and we'll get you on the podcast. It'd be great. Anyway, cheerio. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.